Welcome to the Indie Horror Junkie podcast, where nightmares meet the light, shadows entwine. Tonight we dive deep into the horror scene, with Rod and Ricky in the asylum, made me living the dream. Hear the howl of the night echo in your mind, where the rebels of fright, leaving no soul behind. Movers and shakers, we've got the scoop. Filmmakers and actors, they're part of our group. Indie horror lovers, gather all around, bringing the edge, where true tales are found. With every wound that bleeds, a story to tell. Join us, laugh, where the haunted begins.
Hey!
New Year, junkies. Rod and Ricky,
Happy
welcome
New Year.
back. Thank you. Our first episode of 2026, episode number 112, and we're just going to keep it rolling. We have a fun show for you guys tonight, as usual. Our friends and creatives by the indie horror feature film Choke. They're going to be on tonight to talk about their film that just hit streaming platforms. So congratulations to them. But first, we have some indie horror news. So let's jump into it. Rod and Ricky, let's talk about our Indie Horror Junkie Film Festival coming up. You guys, the days are numbered that you can submit your indie horror short and feature films. We have 5 days left. Entries are closing on Film Freeway January the 12th. And as always, we are going to have this event at MegaCon Orlando. This year it's going to be March 19th to the 22nd. You're seeing that, right? We're giving you guys an extra day of indie horror films, which means we can accept even more films, show more upcoming special screenings, have more panel Q&A. So it's going to be a weekend packed of indie horror. If you're in the area or just want to fly in and hang out with us, you absolutely should. But definitely head over to Film Freeway, submit your films, and join us in Orlando.
Absolutely.
Upcoming issue of Indie Horror Junkie magazine, issue number 21, is going to be available to you guys on the 13th of this month. We do have pre-orders open, so head over to indiehorrorjunkie.com to grab your physical or digital copy. We have the Shudder original feature film on the cover, Motherflies, brought to you by the Addams Family, who we love and respect and are so excited to showcase their new. We've had them on the show before. We're going to have them back again just in a couple of weeks. But you guys are going to want to see this. It's incredible. We have a lot of other great films and creatives to feature. Choke, Cinephiles, The Sequence, so much more. So make sure you head over to the website. You can pre-order this issue. It's going to drop on the 13th. You can also order any of our back issues as well. And we are working on back-to-back issues. We have January, February, and March. So next month is going to be our special Friday the 13th edition of the magazine. And after that, we're going to have our 3-year Indieversary cover. So that's going to be a fun surprise for you guys. 3 years of indie horrors with these two lunatics. How about that? So we have a lot to go over between now and then. We're going to have a huge spread for our film festival as well. So you're going to want to check that out. Again, just keep an eye on what we're doing because there's so much going on in the scene right now. Indie horror is taking over and you don't want to blink because you want to be a part of it. I know you guys are out there working just as hard as we are. So happy New Year to you, Lewis. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We want to give a shout out to Tarot Cards. Let's do that. We want to check out their free virtual horror film cards at tarotcards.com. You can get it on Google Play or the App Store. We have partnered up with them so you can get some trading cards for our magazine covers. They've also featured The Clock, Nightmare Collection Volume 3, and so many other relevant, fun, and cool indie horror films that are circulating right now. So be a supporter of them. They're a huge supporter of us, and they're doing a lot of cool things. So head over to their website, check out their app, and show some love for tarot cards. Reels of the Dead. We're still going to talk about it because we're in pre-production and we are busy. We have Fear Good, which is going to be a part of the anthology and indie horror Junkie short film that is one of the 3 inserted into this brand new anthology brought to you again by Lunatics and Indie Horror Junkie.
And the anthology, the volume 1 has a new name now. You want to get
it has a new name, you guys.
Mm-hmm.
And same concept, just a new name. So we'll go ahead and throw that up. Instead of the theater, it's going to be the Starlight Grand, which is the name of the theater. And we are, like I said, working diligently on bringing you incredible new horror anthology. We're going to feature 3 short films inside, along with the original short film, also from Indie Horror Junkies. So filming starts February and continues throughout the first quarter of the year.
Yep.
What else you got, Rick? We got The Clock streaming here still. Thank you, Bayview Entertainment, for continuing to support us and helping us hit tons of platforms: Tubi, Amazon, Vudu, Plex, Chilling, Flingflex, Canal Plus, Screamify, and Roku, just to name a few. So if you haven't checked it out yet, you're definitely going to want to do that.
And you can get the special edition Blu-ray, which has audio commentary and a special featurette on an old radio show called Hickory Dickory Doom, which is the actual story that we followed for The Clock.
And again, tarot cards, you guys, we're on there as well for The Clock, so check them out.
We're good for our guests now.
Or we got it all. What do you have, Rick?
No, I think we're good to talk about our guests. Let's bring them on and get started.
Let's do it. We have a little teaser for the film Choke, and then we're going to bring our guest on.
All right, here we go. Here's our trailer.
You know, Bob, this town, this decay, can't you feel what's going on? There's the devil. He's on the prowl. He hears you. I can feel it in the trees. I can feel it going through the telephone poles.
There we go.
Welcome back to the show, you guys. We have Jessica Buck, Brad Huffman, Zach Pike, and who is this?
This is Sebastian.
Hi, Sebastian. Joining us, who's more than welcome. Hello there, cutie patootie. And we're here to talk about Choke. We've had you guys on the show last year, right after you were done filming. You had your teaser trailer, and now you guys have hit streaming. Congratulations. Huge news, very exciting. I had the pleasure of watching the film today, so I feel like I have to watch what I say so I don't spoil anything. So I'm going to hand it off to you guys. I want to know, how would you describe Choke in maybe a sentence or two for someone who's never seen it? Because I'll probably give too much away because I had so much fun watching it.
Okay, I'll go. Yeah, so I would describe Choke, if anybody has seen David Lynch's work, especially Twin Peaks, we are very inspired by that. And this is a thriller with some horror elements kind of sprinkled throughout and comedy sprinkled throughout. So we kind of just wanted to make our own mysterious mystery, but not take ourselves too seriously at the same time kind of film. So that's what Choke is to us.
Yeah.
There's definitely some comedy in there, which I was not expecting, and we'll get into that a little bit more, but that was a lot of fun, and you balanced it out really well. I want to kind of go back and introduce you guys a little bit more individually. Zach and Brad, you guys were both the writers and the directors and the producers on this, and Zach, you did the editing, Brad did the score, and Jessica was the amazing lead in this. So again, Indy, you guys are doing a little bit of everything, but just to kind of give the audience a perspective of who's doing what around here. So as far as the streaming goes, this hit streaming platforms in December. Is this the first film that you've done beginning to end on your own that is hit streaming? And what is that feeling like right now?
Brad,
It's a big relief, isn't it, Zach?
Yes. Yeah. It took us a year. It took us a year to actually, when we premiered it kind of at a theater, and we had a little kind of showing in our hometown, to actually getting it to streaming services was kind of its own ordeal. But we're really happy that it's out for everybody to see.
Now, how did the two of you get together to come up with this film?
So me and Brad knew each other in high school, and we always talked film. And we lost touch. Life goes on, all this stuff happens in life. And about a decade goes by, and we reconnect. And he was like, "Hey, you're still doing video stuff?" "Yeah, I'm still doing video." And he wanted me to do a music video. And we get off the phone, we were catching up. And as he got off the phone, there was kind of a horror film idea I had, which was Choke. And I was like, man, I should have asked him about that, because he's way more into horror than I was. Last I was talking to him, and he calls me back and said, "What if we made a movie instead?" And I went, "Oh," so here we go. So kind of gave him that, and that was the start of this whole mess.
It's all coming back to me now, because we had you guys on the show last year. I may ask them repeat questions, but that's okay, because we have people who were watching then, and then we have people who are watching now. So, but you telling that story, I remember that you guys did know each other, which I think is really cool, and I hope you guys will continue to work together, because you have something special here. Jessica, as far as you and your role as an actress, what was the first thing that grabbed you when you read the script?
I was shocked whenever I sent in the request to Zach, and I think I got like 5 scenes back to read. And he said I didn't have to do all of them, but I was like, you know what? Why not? Let's just do them all. It's fun. And I loved his writing style. I felt like it was almost like I was reading a thriller book. Like I was on the edge of my seat reading these scenes, and I was like, oh, this would be such a cool character to play, because my character doesn't actually have a lot of dialogue. She doesn't talk a lot. She's not a super talkative girl. So I was like, man, I will get to play this with so much emotion in like my face and my body language, which I think is one of the really special things about film acting compared to theater, where you have to use your body so much. And I was like, oh, this is going to be really challenging for me, because I'm a very expressive person in real life. So reading the script, I was like, I think this could be a really good role for me in general, but especially as a learning experience, to take a character that is so just, you don't really know what's going on with her. You're kind of like, okay, is she crazy? Is she not crazy? What's going on? And I really loved that kind of, I was like, I don't really know. Until I read the full script, I didn't know if she was crazy or not. So it was a fun audition to do too, because he did send me so much that I could kind of be like, okay, I see where he's going with this.
I think you described that perfectly, because when I was watching it today, I was like, is this chick, like, what's her deal? What's going on here? You really don't know. With that being said, you did an excellent job with this role. Kudos to you. I think that you're a great actress. You showed a lot of subtext, like you said, without, you didn't have a lot of dialogue, but your subtext was there, and the way that you told the story through expression. I thought you did a really amazing job with that. With that being said, how did you balance the subtlety versus going full throttle when you have some, you kind of have to restrain yourself with what's going on in a way? How did you balance that and find your little sweet spot?
Yeah, so I'm going to be totally honest. This was my first film role ever. So I was winging it. I was kind of just going for it. And I think, yes, I just kind of I was like, I feel like me and Zach were on the same page. Whenever Brad would give me, oh, like, this is kind of like what I was feeling for the character, I felt like him and I just understood each other, and I made those changes just pretty seamlessly. I don't know, we all worked very, very well together. And I think, yeah, I just felt the character when I was in those moments. I just kind of was like, all right, I just know what she would do in the scene. I don't feel like I ever had to overthink anything. It just kind of just came to me. I think I was meant to be Leanne.
Well casted, Zach and Brad, because you know, you definitely were, I think, meant for that role, and you did such a good job with it. So
Thank you so much.
And you're so fun to watch on the screen. So you guys, you got to check it out. You got to check it out.
You.
I want to go back to the comedy that you guys incorporated in this film, because I didn't realize the level of comedy that was here, and it was very like, there were moments I felt like it was The Office. There were moments between it was Larry and the other guy and the cake, and I'm like, is this Step Brothers? Like, what am I watching? Like, there was there was a lot of comedy going on. How did you balance that out, and what was the inspiration to incorporate that comedy in such a suspenseful, you know, dramatic horror storyline? It worked, it flowed, but I wasn't expecting it, and I was like, oh my god, this is so much fun to watch. What inspired you guys to pull that in and blend it?
Brad?
Well, I think we started meeting up, making bullet points, and like, we wanted this to be a horror film from the get-go, but the more we met up and talked and went over the script and things from our personal lives just kind of seeped its way into the film. And then we just tried to stay true to the characters. And I remember, like, the birthday scene you just brought up. Me and Zach have both experienced that with family members.
Oh my god.
The more we, like, talked about this stuff, we're just like, we have to find a way to get
not necessarily the fight, but the birthday, sticking your finger in the cake. Yeah.
I don't know if I could talk about it. Yeah, somebody sticks their finger in the birthday. More than once.
And you know, and there were some, like, so there were some things that just felt right, but then there was also moments where I remember getting off work and driving home, and Zach called me, and he had an idea about adding a broomstick scene to the movie. And then when he first told me about it, I was like, that's ridiculous. I don't think that's going to work at all. And then it's just, the more we bounced stuff off of each other, we just started laughing at how ridiculous it was. And it's like, why not do it and just go for it and see what happens. I think that was a scene me and Zach both thought would be 50-50. Some people would hate it or just love it.
I don't know why, but it gave me a Napoleon Dynamite vibe, just because it was
we've had that. Yeah, we've had people
random out there, like, you know. But I enjoyed it. I enjoy comedy very much, and so I can appreciate even the randomness of it, because I think that's how my brain's wired anyways. But no, I think that there's a way to do it, and I think that you guys went for it, and it just, there's a level of trippiness in this film. Going back to Jessica's character, you don't know what's going on, and then you have comedy, and then you have a broomstick flying. So I like the film. It kind of takes you on it takes you on a ride, but done so well. Like we were talking in the pre-show, I loved the cinematography. I love the editing. You guys did some really thoughtful cinematic shots, and I was like, dang, like they really nailed that. That was so good. Like, I mean, you put a lot of thought and passion to this project. It really shows. Brad, the score, I loved. I went back, I was like on IMDb, like who did what? Oh my gosh, they did everything. So you guys are really true to the, you know, indie horror box of how do you make a film, because you really wore multiple hats. What was that like, wearing so many hats on this film?
About killed us.
Wow.
Physically, mentally, creatively, pushed to our limits at all times.
I always tell Zach,
Indie will do that, yeah.
it aged us like 2 years.
Yeah, it was a lot, and it was thrilling. It was so memorable. I'll take these memories of being on set and the stuff we shot with me to my grave. However, I don't know if I would want to do this at the budget and the scale that we did it ever again. I'd want to have maybe more budget. I'd have maybe want some more crew members. It was a lot. It was taxing. but
Yeah.
extremely fulfilling. Extremely fulfilling.
I think a lot of it too was we went into a lot of things blind, this being our first feature. And I think coming from, because me and Zach both made films in high school, and he made very comedic things, and I made just atrocious little horror movies that hopefully no one ever finds. But I think that's how our personalities kind of come together on this movie. But yeah, like we went into so many things blind, and I don't think we were prepared all the time for what we were getting into. And so I think coming from that space of doing it, I think we just automatically thought we have to do everything ourselves. And we didn't realize, like, oh, we could get someone to help out with this or do that. And then I don't know, we got ourselves into kind of a bit of a jam there, but we made it to the other side. But I think in the future, we'd get a bigger crew for sure.
This was our, like you said, this was my first film working with people outside of my friend group. I'd done other stuff before with friends, but working with professional actors, having crew on, set, it was a whole different thing for us. So like you said, we didn't know what we were into till we were in too deep, and we couldn't go back. Like, we had to finish it, but we were like, what have we done? Like, what have we got into? And seeing the budget and seeing these numbers, it's like, oh, you're just like, again, that's why you kind of wear multiple hats. You're like, I have to do it.
Yeah, get it done and get it done myself. What could you give, the viewers an example of one of your major roadblocks and what you did to get past that just to make more work?
Well,
which roadblock we want to talk about?
Any of them. Just because we have so many aspiring filmmakers, we have actors, we have a lot of people who were, come on this show to learn about the production and to get this behind the scenes look. So, I mean, any example is going to be helpful for somebody who's really just trying to figure it out themselves,
I don't think it's a roadblock, but it's something that we actually did, both me and Brad, that really helped. When you start a production on a movie, and you guys know this, you guys have worked on this on a film before, multiple films. Something's going to break and something's going to go wrong the moment you're on set. There's always going to be problems immediately. So take all the time you need. We spent a year writing this back and forth. And took time on the casting. Take your time when you actually have it. Because when that production hits and you've got timelines and scheduling and all that stuff, you're in the deep end at that point. Like, you have got to swim. You've got to figure it out for yourself. But we took our time on the script. We went through 6 revisions on the script. We took time with the casting, like we were saying. So I think, and all the entire film was I storyboarded the entire film. From start to finish.
You sure did.
So, yeah, great drawings. She loved my drawings of her, my stick figures. So I would say advice is to take your time before you hit go on that production. Have storyboards if you know. I'm not saying you have to do what I did, which is insane, but take your time on that, and because that's all that you have control of. Because once that production hits, you're gonna be scrambling. There's gonna be problems left and right. Things breaking left and right. So take your time and really care about it on the foundation. Because if that foundation's shaky, once you get into production, this doesn't make sense. Oh, this story thing didn't, you're going to get into a nightmare. So
I think that's some of the best solid advice that you can give. And I agree with all of it. And I know Rick can too, because we're big on pre-production and just being super organized before we get on set, because once you're on set, all eyes are on you, and everyone has shown up for you and your film and your production, and you don't want to let anybody down. You just want to know exactly what's going on. And if you can't storyboard, I mean, a lot of people do. I suck at it, but I love doing a really solid detailed shot list, working with the DP. I think that goes a long way as well. If you're not storyboarding, if you can do both. But yeah, like everything you said, Zach, 150%. That's really, really good advice. Do the pre-production, and just be ready to, problem solve once you get there. Plans A, B, and C. Another thing that really stood out to me in this film was the locations. You guys had great locations and multiple locations. You had the office, assisted living. Look at this guy. Isn't this guy in the film?
Yes, that was that's Matt. He did an amazing job as Chris, as the boss, and the
good
film.
job, Chris. I enjoyed watching you today. Yeah, he did a stellar job. But yeah, the office, assisted living, the school, the funeral home. How did you guys how did you secure all these locations?
Yeah, so
that's a big struggle for indie filmmakers is getting locations, and can I get it for free, and do I have to spend money, and how long can I have it for, and what time frame? There's so many elements to that. So how'd you do it, guys?
Going back on
got the most lucky.
Oh, sorry.
Oh no, I'll let you take it away, Zach. But that is the one area I think we actually got lucky in the whole process was the locations. But I'll let you explain it.
Whereas everything else went wrong, we really got some lottery tickets for the locations. Yeah, well, at the beginning, Jessica, I think would remember this. We were kind of freaking out for our main office location, this dispatch center that's kind of our main setting. It fell through, and we had all these people scheduled to show up again. First time with actors, first time everything, and everything fell through. Tried to find a second location. That fell through.
Fun.
And I was talking with Brad, I was like, do we push this back? But it's going to be, because we've already scheduled ahead all these other days, this might be pushed back months to a year. We're screwed. And, thankfully we had people show up for us. But I think, again, on being lucky, telling people we were doing this film and just reaching out to people and saying, hey, can you help us with this? And, we got turned down at times or whatever, but really people showed up for us big time. And that is an important thing for people watching. Like, how do I secure some of these locations? How did you get this? How do you ask?
Yeah.
You have somebody that's in your friend group or on Facebook or, family friends that own some of these places you might want to look into. And the more we kind of asked and just said, hey, here's what, this is our dream to make this film or whatever, people showed up. I think people were kind of attracted to the idea. It was like, this is your dream thing. Like, I'll make this work. And people really,
they want to be
the extra mile for it. They want to be like, wow, this is really cool. And we really are so thankful to those people. They saved the film and they made the film what it was. Like, we got some amazing locations, like you were saying, and that was thanks to the community and the people supporting. Some of the people probably watching right now. Even Matt kind of wrangled one of the locations for us as well. So like people came out of the woodwork to help us get to the finish line. It took the community helping with that.
It really brought it all together. It was impressive because you're like, damn, this is indie and they got all these locations and this looks good. And look at this place and how they get that. Like, I was like, I want to film something in that weird building. You guys, I'm glad you got lucky because it really did work. And the police car. How do you get a police car?
Paul.
Paul Kunkel, who played the actual police officer. Cole is on his name tag in the movie. But again, meeting people, just asking, and he went above and beyond to the point where we showed it to somebody in the film industry here in Cincinnati, and he was kind of giving criticism about the film and stuff he liked and whatever when we weren't finished with the edit yet and stuff all the way. And he said, your police stuff, that was incredible. And I was like, that was all thanks to Paul. Like, he really came out and really helped us connect with, because he was a police officer, so he helped us connect.
That helped a lot. He was a real police officer.
Yes. So he helped us.
And I was like, this is not stock footage. They are filming this police car coming down the road right now. Like, they are in this police car, getting out of this police car. How did they get this?
And again, it was back on like the ignorance of, we didn't really know what we were doing all the time. When I wrote that into the script, I didn't know how hard it was to achieve some of that stuff. Like, that's a whole other podcast to get some of these police uniforms and this other stuff. And really, like, it's the luck that we had, him helping us out.
No, but let's get into it, because that was actually going to be my next question. Do you feel like for future projects, would you change your approach to writing to secure the locations first and then write around that?
Yes, the locations would be first. we kind of got mixed managed. We didn't know to do this first, and we were casting at that point. Like, we were the casting, but then we fell through on those locations, and some of those locations weren't set all the way. That kind of got scary, and we'll know the second time to not do that. Make sure you get your locations nailed down and have some signatures
Yes.
on some of that stuff.
Paperwork.
Yeah.
I think, and then we were just both so naive because, I mean, even thinking on it now, like there's a scene in a funeral and we wrote that in the script. And I'm sitting here thinking now it's like we had no idea at the time how we were even going to do that. So it's like, how do you
How's
just
we get a casket?
Exactly.
Guys.
Yeah, it was, and that
what
was
it like
again so
laying in
lucky.
a casket, Jessica?
Yeah, that was interesting. Yeah, but I could say I did it.
Did you have to kind of prepare yourself for that? That would be told. I don't know if I could do it.
It was definitely, it was an emotional kind of day on set anyways, without saying any spoilers, but so I think I was already in a place where I was like, I just got to get in the casket. Like this is it.
Getting in. We're doing this
is it.
guys.
Yeah.
Here we go from Matt Hudson. Amazing. You got you got in only an office, but all the furnishings too, which we got to destroy. Yeah.
Little office space action.
Spoil it, but you had some fun there at the end, didn't you, Matt?
That was a day.
The office we got, it was actually downtown near where me and Zach live. And the building was called Star Tech and they went out of business. And it was just, how long did it sit there, Zach?
Well, it was actually over COVID. So they were a telemarketing agency and they, after COVID, just up and left. So when we went in there to tour it and I had this connection in the city to do that, there's still Post-it notes on people's desk. And it looked like an apocalyptic situation. There was nobody on this whole floor.
It kind of was apocalyptic.
Yeah. And again, that goes back to community totally saved us there. And our connections saved us because it was an amazing location.
There was a guy named David Stark. And he really helped
shouts out David
with getting that location. And like Matt said, Zach and I together, we would just go to like the thrift store and places like that, looking for all these props and old things. And then we knew, without spoiling anything, but yeah, they did get to, that was a one chance shot to get all that stuff being kicked over and destroyed. And luckily it turned out, but I think Zach and I were both nervous on that one.
Outside of the locations and you guys getting so lucky with that, was there anything else that was a happy accident that happened that first threw you off, but it ended up just coming together and being even better than you first had, wanted it to go?
Actually, I would say all of the actors' performances, I think they enhanced everything on the script. I mean, they just made things better. There's times that they would kind of, me and Zach would look at each other and be like, they just changed the line completely, but that is what we wrote down. And honestly, that for me, seeing everyone show up, including Jessica, and seeing them just actually on set doing their thing was amazing to see in person. And because, me and him worked on this script. I don't know how long was it? About a year, Zach?
Yeah.
And then seeing it finally kind of come alive, and then them taking what we have down and really just making it better I wasn't expecting that. I was really blown away by all of them. And Jessica, like I said, we originally had Leanne. She was supposed to be a lot older. But Jessica's audition was just so great. And once she got on set, she just really blew us away that we were just like, oh my God, how did we get her? She's going to be famous in like 2 years. It's like, so that is the thing that really was a pleasant surprise for me.
I can second that. Jessica, you look great on screen, but also you really carried the story. You did such a great job with that character. What was it like working with directors that gave you so much creative freedom with your role? It sounds like you guys are collaborative and let the actors kind of dig in and translate the character as to how they relate to it. What was that like for you, having that creative freedom? How did that help enhance your performance overall?
It was amazing. I love when directors, they do give you that space to kind of play, because then your creative box is like, oh, okay, because you create the story for a character in your mind, and you're like, this is what I think she would do. And they were both just so flexible with like, yeah, like do this, do that. Or if there was something they really were like, all right, let's stick to this, or, maybe say, let's keep this one the way it is in the script. And so I felt like they knew exactly what they wanted, but they were very open to us exploring other options as well. There were certain scenes that we filmed maybe 3 different ways, because it's like, all right, well, now we have options and we can see what plays better when we go to edit. But creatively, it's amazing. They were amazing. It's fun to get to play with the character. And I think sometimes too, like one takes are great. We all love a one take, but I'm an actor that I prefer to kind of get maybe 3 takes in, because I would love to play around with it and see if we can get something better, or we can, try it a different way. And maybe you're like, this might suck, but then it ends up being the final cut that makes it in the film. So I think having creative freedom is an actor's dream. I think we all love to be able to just really create more of that story that we've created for our character in our heads before we even get on set. So I'm very thankful to Zach and Brad that they were so amazing, and that, we still work together now 2 years later, and we just had a really great relationship, and they were amazing. So
I love that. And what was it like having to have more of a serious tone about 90% of the time when everybody else around you is sticking their fingers in cake?
yeah, the birthday scene, that was one where I was like, shoot, like what happened in the scene before this? I'm not okay. Some stuff is going on in my brain. So I was like, I have to be totally stoic here. And I think David and Andrew, 2 of my favorite people ever, they're so funny in real life and in that scene. And it was really challenging to be like, you cannot laugh. Like, Leanne does not think this is funny. She's over it. She sees this every day. And so that was it was a fun day, but I was like, man, it kind of stinks. I don't get to like play, I have to I gotta still be stoic. My character's very stoic, what is she thinking? Is she okay? Is she okay?
I don't know if I could have done it, because I love a good comedy skit and I can't keep a straight face. So
Yeah.
I probably would have sucked at that. Jessica and I had some physical stunts. Her control was off the chain. We never got injured, yet everything looks so natural. There you go.
We also have another question here from Dylan.
Any locations that were hard to film in and were challenging? Okay, another location question.
Yes. That office setting all the time.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, over COVID, they up and left. So they didn't really, something with the HVAC, they didn't really leave it on all the time. And when we came in there, it was stuffy. It was so stuffy that after that first day of filming and stuff, like a lot of us had sinus issues the next day, because the HVAC wasn't turned on. I had to come in with an air purifier and leave it on. And that was tough. The bathroom, there's a bathroom scene that's in that same building, same location.
Poor jobs.
No janitor, when they up and leave, no janitor in there. So
you're the janitor.
Kind of stink. Everything stinks in that bathroom. So, which we had fun with. By the end, we were laughing about it. But that just all of that office was hard, I think, to film in. So it was really.
Yeah, because that kind of ties into the basement area of that office, and like Zach said, the bathroom, there was things left behind. Yeah.
Matt says driving the director's Dodge in the dark.
Yeah, Matt, let's bring that up. So there's a scene, they're driving, and so Matt, I don't know how to say this I love Matt, but Matt couldn't see very well. And so me and Zach,
you got to say there was tent on the car, and we were driving in the dark. And that combination created some whole other podcast of stories.
Well, look good.
That's all that matters.
We're glad. Hey, I will say the shot looks incredible. I do agree. I love the shot when they're, the
next time I don't think I'd want to use my own car again. But we everything was going smooth, and we did have like a little tiny incident where me and Zach were kind of celebrating, and we're like, we nailed it. The shot, I think we're going to get this. And they come back and they pull into the parking lot, and there's this little tiny ditch, and me and Zach are just watching the car, and then the car just goes like this, and we're looking at it, and we're just like, oh my god, we killed him. We've killed Jessica. We've killed.
I will say, from our angle, it looked like it was all over. I had like everything ended to me. The relationship with these actors, we've killed them. The movie's dead.
They're dead.
And my heart sank because I'm like, it's all over. Because even we were at, the car was like this. It was like completely vertical and up. But as we got closer, it wasn't as bad. That's where this thing was, and we were able to pull it out. But it was scary, and it was a little,
Zach's like, everyone's dead. Brad's like, my car.
Well, and my camera's on the front. And I never used that before. Again, we're so naive. I'm like, I'm just going to put my expensive camera on the hood. So the camera and the actors are all gone. So we've lost all three.
Oh my gosh.
We changed direction a bit after that incident on how we were going to shoot the rest of the car scene.
Yeah.
Yeah. You figured it out. So
and that's why you never celebrate until you wrap, because the universe is listening and goes, oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That's exactly what happened. Yeah.
Now, I know in the beginning you said that David Lynch was an inspiration for you. What do you feel like were some other inspirations to this, with the comedy especially?
That's a good question. I would say Napoleon Dynamite was probably the subconscious, because so many people mentioned it, and it's just that awkwardness and that kind of 1 degree off of normal that kind of just cracks both me and Brad up, I think.
Just letting things sit there longer than what seems natural and just letting it go.
You did that with one of the shots with the neighbor and the baseball bat, and it just lingered, and I was like, damn, that's funny, because it's stupid.
That was the scene that 50%, when we test screened it, 50% loved it, adored it, and the other half of people that we let see it go,
don't understand and appreciate comedy.
I would cut that. And me and Brad had a conversation, because me and him both were on the same page always about how long that scene went for. There's a scene, without spoiling, it goes pretty long. And I told Brad, I was like, 50% are probably going to love it and 50% are going to hate it. And that's probably pretty much what happened with it. But I think the ones that liked it really adored it. And that's, and we liked it.
There's a certain type of comedy, because there's so many ways that you can spin comedy, but the tone of this, I think you really have to understand the history of comedy and how that's applied to film to really appreciate this. And people who are avid watchers of comedy or skits or SNL or just, movies like Napoleon Dynamite that are so different and unique in the sense of the tone and the approach that they use, that's different than, in your face comedy. I don't know. I just enjoyed it. It was slowed down. It was thoughtful and intentional, and I just liked it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
How many days did you film, and did you use every idea in the script?
Good questions.
We filmed for 17 days. I think there was a pickup. Maybe that was total with the pickup days, and we had to go reshoot some scenes that didn't turn out as well. But I think it was 17 days. And we did use every idea in the script. I think when we kept revising it, there was one idea where there was going to be a prank call to Leanne's character of Leanne, and we cut that.
Call her,
yeah, and we ended up just cutting that and slimming that down. But everything else we filmed, we used every single thing. That goes back to the foundation thing. Like, we were really tight with, like, here's what we want, here's our vision of it.
Yeah,
so
we used got longer, and we did more than what we had planned, I think, because it was supposed to be we had started this off with the idea of it being a 40-minute film, and it turned into an hour and 34 minutes. So
hey, listen, that happens, doesn't it, Rick?
Yeah, I know. Did you guys do the film festival route, or did you just finish it and go straight into distribution? How did that work?
No, we submitted it to quite a couple of film festivals. We were selected for one. We didn't win any of them, but we did submit to a couple. Yes. And maybe we might have some news on something else, another film festival and stuff that we're submitting to and stuff coming out soon.
Very cool.
Now, did you guys I don't know if that was just answered in this. Did you self-distribute or did you find a distributor? What was that process for you, and how did you decide to go whatever way that you went?
We ended up self-distributing it. We were talking with a distributor at length, and they were helpful and helped us out, and we got ghosted by this distributor. Come to find out, I talked to some other people in the community, and that's happened to them too. Because I was like, I didn't want to bad name them, still don't want to name them, but they this person was like, were they X and Y? And I said, yeah, that was them or whatever. So, but they helped us kind of lead us down a path of where we could go with this and our budget and what we were doing. And we ended up self-distributing and kind of using an aggregator to get on the services that we were able to get on. But that was an uphill battle too, because when we even talked to that first distributor and we were talking about budget and where things were kind of going and all the different distributors, it was like, and they were kind about it. They said most people have already budgeted this out. But for me and Brad, this is our first thing. I don't know how much this is going to cost. I don't know if we're going to do, on streaming services when we first started. I told Brad that. I said, I really don't know what's going to happen in the end because we're so green at this. But that was a whole year of having to save our money in the piggy bank and get us on the streaming services. So it was a whole other ordeal for a year for that. So
did you guys end up going the Film Hub route? I'm sorry, Rick.
That's okay.
We used a service called Bitmax, an aggregator called Bitmax.
Okay.
Yeah, and they were really helpful. They were really they worked with us.
Okay.
Do that.
Here's another question that I was going to ask. Are you planning on having a physical release for it?
Yes. So we what we did is we took pre-orders. They've since closed, but I'll add a little caveat to that. But they've since closed, and we're going to be talking about that this actually coming week. About that, but we did a Blu-ray, we did a commentary on that, behind the scenes, all of that and stuff. But because of the nature of that, we have to order, and you guys probably are used to this too. You have to order a certain quantity. You can't just order one or two or what people want that. So we are open to, because that's closed and we're about to get those out to people soon. We're kind of we're allowing on our comments on Facebook. I'll put some posts and stuff on social media. If people are still interested, we might do another run of those, but we're really, really happy with it. It's actually right here. We got this, and we got the disc on there. But yeah, so we got the physical release. We're really excited about that. This was a whole ordeal as well. So
Yes,
it was. But
yeah, let's talk about that in the after show. Remind me.
Yeah. I have something I'd like to mention to you in the after.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
With regards to the budget, though, how did you guys? Because that's another question that a lot of filmmakers are always asking. Did you go ahead and determine and put like a budget together and know exactly what you were shooting for? And was this something you raised yourself? Did you have a private investor? Did you go the the funding routes, Indiegogo, stuff like that? How did you raise your capital there for the funds?
So Brad and I both, we split this 50-50, and it was all self-funded by Brad and I. Nobody else, crowdsourced or anything like that, because we felt personally, and people don't have to feel this way, just me and Brad kind of spoke about it, and I said, well, personally, I want to prove myself. I want to have this thing, and then I'm not against doing crowdfunding in the future. We'd love to have it. Actually, we'd love to have some outside support. So if people see Choke and they want to fund something, thank you. We'll be right in on that. But for me and Brad, I don't know if it's an ego thing. I was like, I want to, do the smaller thing and show people that we can do this, and show people that we can actually put together and finish something and complete it. And then next time it's like, hey, do you want to, give us some money? Because we've done it before, kind of thing. But I don't know. But I'm not against getting whatever source of income, whatever source of funding you can get as an indie filmmaker, take it. If it's family, if it's crowdfunding, do whatever. But for us personally, that was something I'd saved years and years before Choke. I set aside because I wanted to do a film one day. So this was a lot of that that got sourced into this. Was I don't even know what I'm making yet, but I'm going to set this aside and budget this into. And I think the other question was did we budget this out, and how did we do that? I kept a Google sheet, and I kind of calculated all this. But funny enough, we went over budget. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that. I've ever done that. But always kind of add a little bit more, 25 to maybe 50% more.
Contingency.
Yeah.
Yes. And even the distribution, we didn't have that as a line item. So that was a thing where it's like, we have to save up for a year to even afford to do this. So
I have a lot of respect for you guys for self-funding it. Not only supports the passion that you have for what you do, but it shows really the belief that you had in yourselves to make it happen.
Yeah, you bet on yourselves.
There's a lot of respect behind that, because it's like the responsibility is on you. Like, this is, I worked for this money, and I want to use it for this, and we're going to do it. And you guys started it and you finished it. And even the obstacles that came along and all the different ways you had to pivot and problem solve, you did it diligently and you got to the other side of it. So I have a lot of respect for you guys just taking it on, you know, both of you wearing multiple hats and then financing it yourselves, and everything that you went through just to get it done, because it's not easy.
No, it's not.
No,
it's not a fan of art. So
we appreciate that. But same with you guys. Like, you guys have made your films. Like, it's hard. It's hard to fund. It's hard to do everything. Everything's hard. So respect to you guys as well.
You just figure it out as you go, and what you learn from on this one, you apply it to the next one, and you just keep figuring it out, you know?
Yeah. And I'm a big proponent of the physical media.
Oh, sorry, Rick.
No, go ahead, Brad.
That was the lesson I kind of learned from all this, is just, you just got to jump in. You know, when we first started this, I told Zach, like, yeah, I'll do the music. That'll save some money. But I didn't know what the hell I was doing. Like, I didn't know if I could pull off a movie score. I'd mainly...
Really?
You know,
because it's so good, Brad. And I'm not just saying that. I really, really like it. I told Rick today, I was like, I love this score.
It's still wacky to me, because I'll listen to it like, did I do that? I'm like, I guess I did. But because I just come from a background of, you know, playing guitar and singing. And I thought, I think I could do this, you know, if I sit down at the piano and kind of map all this out in my head. But then it's like, we said from the start we were going to do it. And so we just jumped in. And I remember when we got to that part of the movie where we had to start making music, I just kind of dived into it. And luckily, you know, I was sending stuff to Zach and he was giving me feedback, and we did always say, like, we wanted it to be very Carpenter-esque, with a bit of like Lynchian stuff in there. But that's the thing I've learned the most, is just to jump in and just go for it. And I mean, what do you got to lose, right? You might as well try. So
yeah, to me, the one big thing that I can take away from it, that I tip my hat to you guys, is that, because I know a lot of filmmakers, and when you guys told me that you got to this point where, like, you knew you were over your head and all this stuff was happening and things were falling apart and stuff like that, you saw it through. You figured it out. You got creative. You did what you had to do. Now you got your film done. It's out there on streaming. That's got to be a tremendous feeling for you, knowing that you didn't think you were going to get to that point and you saw it through. So many other filmmakers I know have gotten to that point and things fell apart, and you'll see a movie sitting on the shelf for years. You guys saw it through, so hats off.
Appreciate that.
Thank you so much, Rick.
Absolutely.
I think there's a lot of instincts that you have to learn to trust, and I feel like that's what you guys did. You had enough instinct to say, I'm going to put this hard-earned money into this film. And then every other thing that you're doing that is so, you haven't done it before, you haven't tried it before, it's new, but it's still inside of you, that instinct that, yeah, I can figure that out. I can do that. This is kind of bigger than what I have taken on before, but it's in me. I can do it. I think you have to learn to trust your instincts. I know I personally have had to do that, but it always pays off. And I think there's something to be said that if you are able to manifest it in your mind and you see it, it's there for a reason. Like, that seed is planted inside of you, you know, not because you're crazy. We are all a little crazy, but it's for a reason.
That's a big part of it, is the crazy.
Yeah, we're all, like I always say, we all have the same mental illness, right? Because we just keep doing it. We can't stop because we love it and we're passionate about it. But I think it all stems from that gift that we're given. And you think about it and over and over and over again. And whether you know what the hell you're doing or not, you just do it. It's such this huge leap of faith, whether it's writing, whether it's acting, whether it's directing, or, you know, doing the score. If it's in there and you trust your instincts and you see it through, like, you're going to surprise the hell out of yourself and you're going to be so proud. And I feel like that's what you guys did. And there's just so much respect behind that, because like Rick said, a lot of the indie filmmakers kind of get to a point and they're like, you know, maybe I just will stop, but you did it. So, and now you're on streaming. Let's show that nice little streaming image that we have, Rick, so everybody knows where they can watch it.
Okay, got it right there. Amazon Prime, Apple TV, which I'm right now obsessed with Apple TV thanks to Amy with the whole Severance TV show, and YouTube.
So good.
Yeah, you guys watch Severance. Rick's finally
good
watching
one.
it 100 years later.
Amazing.
Oh, good
Yeah,
lord.
that's a good one.
Yeah, and we just have another little comment here from Jay Fry. I did not know this.
Hey, Jay.
Kudos to both of you on making your movie happen.
Yeah,
And here we are with the podcast, helping them sell DVD copies or Blu-ray copies. Look at that. Devil Man, definitely interested in getting it.
Okay,
Yeah.
Devil Man, I need to the wait
right.
list. Jay Fry, that just commented the comment before last. He was the janitor.
Oh, no way. The
Yeah.
room door.
Yes. And one other little snippet on that. Those
Jay?
two, Lee and Jay, Lee was the police officer, and Jay, they didn't know that was happening that day. That wasn't in the script. I don't know if I can remember if I warned them, like, there's something we want to try. We don't know. I don't even think we were going to maybe do it. We were going to tell them and see if it worked. So that wasn't in the original script or the storyboards and stuff, but we tried it.
Interesting.
I love that scene.
It's just so out there. You're like, what? did I
Spontaneous.
watch? I actually took it back and watched it again. Just enjoyed it.
You're like, did I watch the same thing? That
I was like, this is a different movie, but it's relaxing somehow watching this broom fly through the sky.
Going back on that moment and the other comedy, just to go back on what we were talking about, that
Yeah.
you talk about Leanne's character, and there's not much dialogue for her, and we kind of when we were writing it before you could see it on the screen, we kind of torture this character. There's a lot of like deep dark stuff that she's battling,
A lot of gas.
and that's why a lot of gaslighting, a lot of stuff that's going on in her head. Is this real? Is this not? And what me and Brad's conversation with the comedy bit, it was like you were kind of showing like an up and down of these comedy bits and these very dark moments. To me, it was a balance. It was, vanilla and chocolate. Like it was trying to balance like both of these things and not let one go too dark and not go too funny either. We didn't want it to be too goofy either. So that was part of the broom stuff and everything that's in this film, dark and funny. But
Oh yeah, there's definitely it's all there. That was actually in my notes because I remember like watching something insane happen, like a little skit that happened, and then we, cut to Jess at her desk dealing with this internal conflict. I'm like, my God, this girl is having to deal with all this BS in this office, and there's something very real going on. But people have to deal with that conflict every single day of their personal struggles and whatever might be going on in their lives that is not something that they're going to talk about. But then they have to put on a whole different face just to go to work. So there's a lot of realness there. So now that you guys have this behind you, it's off your plate, it hits streaming, you're going to have fun promoting it, selling the Blu-rays. Let us know how we can help you promote that. Is there anything that you guys are working on that you'd like to discuss? Or is it too early to ask?
Matt has another comment real quick here. I watched some of the wedding videography during the audition process. I knew from the start they would slay the cinematography. Already puts this film miles ahead. Outrageous for a first time.
Yes.
Yeah, so I do wedding videography. I have a business doing videography for commercials and weddings. That's what he's talking about. Because that was the other thing, was because I wasn't connected with professional actors, that was a spooky thing, because it was like, I don't have anything that I want to show, like my friends doing goofy YouTube videos of my, reel to these actors. Like, what have I worked on? Why am I going to go work on your thing? But I did kind of show my website. I kind of showed that I did wedding videography and stuff. And I think that helped Matt and others and stuff go like, okay, this guy's not just some loony bin that just, I want to have a face.
Camera.
I'm stepping into working with these actors and stuff. So that was, yeah.
There you go. So like Amy was asking, what do you guys got coming up next? Anything?
I'll be very vague, but Brad and I do have something we have talked about, but we're not really ready to talk about. I will say it's horror based. But there is
back on the show.
Two different things we're kicking around right now, me and him. But I think that's enough. What we want to say, Brad. I think that's all we'll say.
Yeah, I don't want to get like.
Say no more then.
Yeah.
Don't do it. You don't have to do it. Nobody's gonna make you do it. What about you, Jessica?
Jumping
I-
again.
I actually just finished another thriller, kind of Stranger Things, a little bit horror film feature called The Obsidian Mirror, which was an amazing experience. I'm just really drawn to this genre, I guess. And then I have a couple projects coming up the next couple months. So some proof of concept, some shorts. So yeah, so we'll see. I think hopefully working with them again in the future. I know I do. We Zach and I work on winter film together. And yeah, so hopefully more on the horizon too. But it's been ever since Choke, I feel like it kind of, I will always be thankful for Choke because I feel like it really like ignited my career. And so I'm always going to be insanely grateful to Zach and Brad for believing in me and trusting with me when I had one student film video on my acting reel.
I love
Same
that.
to you. Same to you. Same to you.
And that's the video that blew me away when we watched it. But
Yeah.
it's been crazy. I mean, I didn't even know. I guess I can call myself a composer now. But like after Choke was finished,
You
I
are.
composed.
Yeah.
Zach, are we able to talk about the short film you did after Choke?
Oh yeah, yeah. We made a film called Praise Mariah.
Did a short film, Praise Mariah, and I came back and scored on that, and then I scored another movie that Brandon and Rosabelle did. They were also, or Rosabelle was also in Choke, and I scored that, and then I did 2 albums that are very like ambient and kind of cinematic music. So I've just been kind of
send me those, Brad, will you? I want to hear them.
Yeah, and I've just been really going full force on the music stuff, and then and I'm supposed to score another short film here in like a few weeks. But it's crazy because I didn't think, this. I think that's Jessica really nailed it, and that like this movie kind of got us all a start in something.
Gotta trust your instincts, guys.
Yeah,
Good job.
But me and Zach, we did meet up a few weeks back, and we do have like 2 ideas circulating around. Both are crazy, and I'm at some point I'm sure we'll be ready to talk about it, but it's so early right now but we can't just yet. But
For sure, we won't pressure you, and you guys are always welcome to come back on the show. Whatever you have going on, just get in touch with us, and we can find you guys on socials at Choke Film. Is that correct? And go ahead and plug your other socials as well as we wrap up the show.
Yeah, we're on Facebook. It's Choke, I think, -2024 is what our title on there, and then it's Choke Film on Instagram. And yeah, you can catch us on there for updates, and we're always posting something on there.
And I was going to say, for me, if I have a website now where I now put everything, and so bradhuffmanprojects.com. That's where I have everything going on, all the latest new stuff I'm working on, and things like that.
Very cool.
Yeah. And then I'm just on Instagram. Just Jessica Lynn Buck is my name. Just my full name, nothing special. And then I post sometimes on Facebook, just again, Jessica Buck, but Instagram is probably my main one that I use. So yeah.
So check them out, you guys. Absolutely.
And then real quick, I forgot to mention Seven Tree, which is like Brad's thing, which is my own, where I'll be posting my stuff. And the short film that we all worked on, he was composing, Jessica starred in it, called Praise Mariah, and that's on Seven Tree on YouTube and on Facebook and Instagram.
Seven Tree, is it spelled out or the number 7?
It's number 7, and then space tree.
There you go. Okay, well, you guys, we're going to kick you backstage for the after show, so don't go anywhere. Thank you so much for coming back on.
Yep,
First,
thank you.
Guys, watch them. You can watch Choke Film. It's on streaming. It's a really, really fun watch. Support indie horror. Thank you guys again. We're going to shoot you over and bring you back on in just a second.
All right.
Thanks so much.
Rick, we did it. First show of the year. Couldn't have better guests on. So happy to have them back. It's really cool to see the progression of how they started off with this film and where they are now. And it's such a cool story. So congratulations to the Choke cast and crew. If you like what we're doing and want to support the Junkies, head over to YouTube, like and subscribe. Any Horror Junkie podcast. And we will see you guys next Wednesday.
All right.